Hey guys, it's me, Riley, and here I am on Fanfiction Freakouts, talking about Rose Tyler. So, okay, I'm not talking about a specific fanfiction, though I have read many of them. I'm just going to talk about the character in general. Rose Tyler is amazing, alright? I can totally respect people who hate her, of which there are many. But she was my first. She and Christopher Eccleston of Doctor Who they're the ones who made me fall in love with that show. All of it, the science, the magic, basically. The love, the adventure. They're what made me fall in love with it. And as the show went on, I realized how amazing Rose Tyler was. Rose Tyler was a lower class British girl who grew up in a bad side of town. She probably wasn't that great in school. And she ran in with a bad crowd when she was about 16, and she had an abusive boyfriend, and she never took her A-levels, which are basically like her SATs. But she was amazing. She was normal. There was nothing special about her. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. But the Doctor took her on. She saved the Doctor in her first episode. And he'd be lost without her, basically. Of course, he fell in love with her. I don't know how you could deny that. Like, are we watching the same show? Because she was so human. She was the humanest of humans. And the Doctor loves humans. Even though he called her a stupid ape and stuff. Didn't mean it. And she was what saved him from his angst. Like, more than Harry Potter 5th year level angst. After the Time War, I mean. He killed all his people, or he thought he did at that time. Whatever, Moffat. And she was there. She was his friend. She had lots of boyfriends, but she was 19 years old. She wore a lot of makeup. She was 19 years old. She made a shit ton of mistakes. She was 19 years old. And when the Doctor left her behind, she didn't know. She didn't want to go. Not because the adventure was wonderful and amazing, but because he taught her a new way of living. A new way to be. To stand up and say no. And she was a better person because of it. It's amazing. The Doctor makes people better. And then she gets stuck in a parallel universe. Jeez, that killed me. I love you. Quite right, too. What? Okay. Maybe I should get over that. It's been a while. But then she comes back. She travels across universes to find him. Okay, maybe it was to save all the multiverse as well, but it was to find him because she loved him. And she was left with the Meta-Crisis Doctor. And sure, that's all fine and dandy. Selfless act of the Doctor, making her decisions for her, whatever. She would have been happy with him. He was basically the Doctor. It was basically her ending up with the Doctor that lived as long as her, except here's the thing I'm not quite convinced about. So, Rose Tyler was Bad Wolf, right? She soaked up all of the time vortex into her and held it, and manipulated it to her will. Okay, the Doctor kissed her and took the time vortex out of her and lived for how long? A couple seconds, maybe. Who knows how long she had that in her? A couple minutes, at least. And if that killed the Doctor and made Jack live forever, what did it do to Rose? There are many theories. There's that she's a TARDIS, she's gonna turn into a time lady or whatever, but at least she has to live like Jack, never dying, watching the Meta-Crisis Doctor wither and die. Oh, the irony. She'd watch her family die, everything, and she had the piece of TARDIS coral, she'd be able to travel, eventually become as old and weary and broken as the Doctor himself. If I wrote for Doctor Who, which they should just call me up and ask me to, I would have brought her back. I can't see it as the end for her. They can't just say that the time vortex didn't do anything. It doesn't work for me. If I had my way, she would come back to the universe and the Doctor and her would find each other, and they wouldn't immediately fall into each other's arms because the Doctor has a ton of issues, and by that point she would have a ton of issues, and it wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be fun-loving like a spin-off would have been with her in the Meta Crisis. It would be angsty and pain-filled, but laughing, an adventure between, and it'd be perfect. I want that. Of course, I write many bad fanfictions about that, and, you know, because that's just the way of it. If I had my way, she would have come running in to the Doctor, being like, not having a plan, being backed up against the wall by hostile aliens, and she would have grabbed his hand and said, run. How perfect would that be? How perfect. How perfect. So, my friend Lily and I, we make up theories all the time because we love Rose Tyler. And she heard a theory that, like, Clara's Amy's mom, and if Amy can come back, Rose can come back. Also, the pub that Clara worked at when she was Victorian was called Rose's. And, like, the Doctor had a Barbie doll that was blonde and had pink clothes on in his pocket. And in that episode with the Mars spacey thing and the Cold War ship, you know what I'm talking about? Clara went out and sang Howling Like the Wolf. Howling Like the Wolf. You can't say wolf in Doctor Who and not have it being a Rose reference. Come on. And, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, Clara always wears red. Well, she did in the first season, which I guess that theory kind of goes away now. And I was thinking she was Little Red Riding Hood, and it would be the Big Bad Wolf, and I was also thinking that lady in the shop who gave her the number was Rose, and it turns out that was wrong. Oh, Missy. I like her. Anyway, I'm hoping Gatiss has plans. I trust you, Gatiss. Mycroft, you old fool. Anyway, let's just, in conclusion, I love Rose Tyler. I see her for all her faults, but I love her. Alright. And this is Riley, signing off.